episode number 8 of Akashic Resources, where we
aid people to use their minds more productively, to be happier, healthier, and more successful at things like podcasts.
Yeah, we're obviously still a work in progress ourselves. And today's episode is on conscious parenting and cultivating a creative mind. Something that we're inspired to talk about today. So Brian, why don't you start off and talk about, because it kind of came to you, so you start.
Yeah, one of the things we're always working with is this idea of being conscious parents, and what does that mean? How can we be the best parents that we can be? How can we be very present with our children? How can we use our intuition sometimes to figure out what do they need? We read lots of stuff. Golbahar's always turning me on to different things, ways, and how that path as a conscious parent is accelerating my growth and my personal development. How can I be better so that I can aid my kids to be better?
And really teaching you how you can use your creative mind as well.
Yeah. Right.
And we use the word conscious parenting just because it's something, we didn't coin this. Obviously, there's a whole group of people that focus on that. For me, so we've kind of redefined it, I think, for ourselves as conscious parenting. I'm really passionate about intuitive parenting alongside conscious parenting, which is the idea of being aware and conscious and present, so that you can actually access your intuition to really recognize, what does my child need now in the moment, specifically for my child? Because you can read an article and it can tell you do this, and that's great, but everyone's so different that you kind of want to use a little bit of guidelines and then really using your own inner guidance system. And actually what's really cool about that is when Daria was first born, and even with Aiden, was always reading different things of how it can be a conscious parent, and how can we help them, and how can we help them develop to the next stage. And there was even an app that it was called Leaps, I think, I can't remember, leap years. And so every couple months it would tell you, now they're entering this leap and this is what you should be doing with them. And it was really funny because Brian would be doing those things without reading the app, and it's like, oh, you're already doing what it's saying you should be doing. And that was really cool to use our conscious mind and our subconscious mind being our intuition to kind of work together. And that's the theme of this podcast today, is the working together of the conscious and subconscious mind for creativity. Right. And as it comes to our children, I think we've found that it's really been working for us to see this in them.
Yeah. I remember, speaking of the intuition part, there was a time when we were living with Golbahar's mom, and Daria was having a fit, and she was maybe 6 months old. And it was probably the worst fit that I had ever seen, and nothing was able to calm her down at all. And I, all of a sudden, it came to me to take her out back, and I took her out back, and I sat down in a chair, and I said, "Can you hear the birds?" And she slowly started to calm herself down. And we started to implement that to use nature, because nature is very, very healing. And that was one that,
and I think using the 5 senses, because you have had her listen, which helped her calm down because she was concentrating her attention. And we try to do that a lot with bringing their attention to the present moment, and helping them understand that using their attention can be helpful. Speaking of attention and creativity, we had an experience a couple days ago where Daria found Aiden's gift. It was this like kit, a little at an arts and crafts kit that would tell you, like, okay, if you want to make this, it had instructions, had a lot of cool stuff in it. Daria decided she wanted to use it, and Aiden was kind of into it and not, he didn't care. And Daria started just getting into it, and I was like, we need to read the instructions. And she was like, I don't want to do the instructions. I know what I'm doing. She kept on saying that. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
She says that a lot.
And that's, again, me needing to trust that and tap in that she really does mean it. And so I let her do it, and she started to create. She was just in full mode, 2 hours of just like mad scientist. And actually Aiden fell asleep. The next morning I had put the kid away, hopefully, but I had forgotten to put it away. So she found it again as soon as she woke up, and she started going into this creative mode, and Aiden joined. And typically in the mornings, Aiden's just grabbing me and wanting to be with me, but not this morning. He was just onto it, just like focused. And I turned around, and Brian and I both noticed, wow, look at what they just created. It was really, it looked like And not to say this because we're parents, it looked like it was from an art gallery.
There was a lot of interesting things. One of the pieces, I just remember this because I said something to Gobahar. She was like, "Oh wow, look at this," and I said, "Yeah, notice the glue bottle is glued to the artwork." So there was part. So I went to lift the glue bottle up, saying, "Oh, I better put this up so the kids don't have it." And the piece of art, the paper came up with it, so I just put it back down.
And
said,
I think I was told later that was intentional by the artists,
by the artist,
by the artists themselves.
You have some very
and they even name their art. And so, do you want to share the art, or do you want to say
well, I'd say, let's talk about ways that so we're talking about cultivating the creative mind.
Yeah.
How do we do that? How do we develop that? And so we've got this thing with kids right now. So we're really encouraging them to be creative. So numerous things. So we have a great selection of paint, crayons,
some washable,
markers, some not. Some are parents only with their kids very closely, and lots of different, glues and crafts and all kinds of things. That I buy stuff on clearance, or I get stuff at garage sales, and I'll just buy a giant bag of, the other day cotton balls were on clearance. Cotton balls on clearance, really? So I bought a few extra bags because I know we can have lots of fun with cotton balls. And I got some pipe cleaners. Another thing that we do, there's these magnetic tiles called Picasso tiles, and we have amassed a really, really good collection of these. Several people have said they're the most anybody's ever seen in one place, and we can go from the floor to the ceiling, and they can create buildings. And I think we've got over a dozen different kinds of pieces, and it's very, very exciting to play with. And what happens with those on multiple occasions, the kids are playing and the adults are helping out. The kids leave and the adults keep playing with these things. I love it. And that's part of the reason why I keep buying it. And
the other thing happened last week at Friendsgiving, where there was like a train. There was like 4 or 5 kids just like in this creative mode. And what was really interesting is what I found is because kids express what's around them through art and through what they can create with their hands. Is we were talking about this conscious community and this sustainable piece of land that people could live in, and they really had created that city with they built it out of magnetic, and they were just kind of listening, but I think they subconsciously received it, which is another reason why being very aware of our thoughts and our emotions is important in supporting them in becoming creative. And I want to say too is I think part of why it supported them to do that is it's good to have boundaries with people, and I need boundaries. We all need boundaries. But when it comes to creativity, sometimes we need to be able to color outside the box and really be able to do that. So I think that balance comes from being present and aware, so you can know when to do what. Because sometimes you just need to say, no, these are the instructions you have to follow. If you're making cake, for example, we can't just, put whatever we want in the
you can't. It just doesn't turn out. It doesn't turn out very well if you start messing with the ingredients. But yeah, interesting.
Do you want me to share
let's
artwork?
So here, this is one that Daria made that it's a 2-piece thing.
It's a 3-dimensional. It's like this. It's supposed to be like this.
Oh, it's supposed to be like that. Okay.
It was started off as a purse, and then
it's just really, really interesting. I have never made anything that creative in my life. And this is what she did with these are paper towels that we were just going to use for cleaning purposes.
They're now blankets for her.
And so now blankets. She made these as blankets for her babies, which is incredible. Aiden had a piece of art where he actually, it was a piece of foam that he had glued some things to and painted some things on. And then what was really interesting is he pierced it with the paintbrush. And the paintbrush that was his tool for creation became part of the artwork. And I don't know if that was in
something I can't remember.
Yeah, in an emotional expression. So unfortunately, that piece no longer exists because the artist destroyed it shortly afterwards. He's very emotional artist. But we have pictures and we'll post those. I did put some up, but we might do it again though. But it's so cool to see the unlimited possibilities that kids experience and the way that they think and the way that it's so easy. And with Daria in the beginning, it was very easy for her to color outside the lines. I'm not sure she even noticed them. She's just going nuts. You give her a picture and she just draws whatever she wants to right on the top of it. Yeah, she doesn't care about those lines.
Yeah, she doesn't really like coloring books too much.
She's not that big on structure either, but as a little Pisces. But as we get older, sadly, we have a tendency to what? We
Wanna
get kind
stay
of
inside the box a little
narrower,
bit.
right? We stay in our lane, which is an expression that I never really like too well. And we don't color outside the lines. We don't rock the boat. And we're taught through school, through jobs, that a lot of times our creative thoughts are not rewarded and they're not welcome. And that's tragic. So we're really looking to, provide these opportunities for kids to grow up and homeschool, to turn into adults that still have that
They
creative
can
stuff.
create from the inside out.
Right.
And
And
experience
be
the
in
fulfillment
touch
of
that
that.
the intuition, because a creation comes from subconscious mind. A lot of times you see movies and books and artwork it's just the inspiration comes from subconscious
And
mind.
you don't have to, I think because most of us went to school, like traditional school, there was science and math and art class. And you did art in art class. And, so there was these boxes.
If you were lucky to have art class.
I had art class for a while anyway. And then you had in music class, some people had that. They don't even have that anymore. I don't think that's even available anymore. And so it was kind of like in these boxes. And there wasn't a whole lot of time dedicated to just creation and what do you want to create today or what do you want to learn today. So it's kind of been, most of us are conditioned until we kind of expand outside of that box and look at ourselves and say, okay, what do I want or who do I want to become? And it's that we keep using the word conscious and subconscious mind, which is something we teach in our classes. The conscious mind is what we use to interact with the physical world. And we need that. It has more structure. It's physical. It's the 7th level of mind. And the subconscious mind is the inner self, the intuition, the soul. It's where all our understandings are. It's our feelings are there. And it's much bigger, actually. It's more expansive. Is one better than the other? No, you need both. How do you have them work together so that you can create? Because when conscious and subconscious mind, they dance, there's creation, because dance is a creation, right? There's a harmony that's happening.
And dancing can be very beautiful, and sometimes it can be somewhat awkward too, as the creation process. But you inspired me. I just had a new thought that was really, and that's why I love to talk about this stuff, is to have new thoughts and new understandings. So 2 things popped into my mind as she was talking about those containers and those boxes that things were put in. First off, is that a lot of millionaires and billionaires are created from taking one idea from this industry and applying it to a different industry.
So going outside the box.
Right. So coming out of this box, being in this box and learning and growing, and then saying, wow, this could fit into this box really well. And that's made people a tremendous amount of money over the years and created all kinds of expansion and growth and evolution. The other thing, and fulfillment,
most importantly.
So the other thing that it was interesting to me is, so I grew up Catholic, and I grew up, thinking along the lines of, Darwin, evolution, random chance. There's everything just happens. There's not, it's not a fate or anything. And when I had my awakening and I realized there was no such thing as a coincidence, and everything happened for a reason, when that 10,000 light bulbs went off in my mind, what happened was those boxes were just blown away. And so I had, like most people, struggled to put religion and science and all these things together in a meaningful way. And when those boxes fell apart, all of a sudden I saw it woven together. And in my mind, I saw that how a lot of science supported the religion and a lot of religion supported the science. And looking at it with these new metaphysical eyes, without these boxes, it made so much sense. And all of a sudden, I understood questions that I had for many, many years. So,
I like what you're saying, because when you say box, I think of identity too, like how we identify ourselves. This is the box that I'm in. I'm a mom, or I'm a business analyst, and those are the boxes. And sometimes people get very boxed in, like, this is who I am, this is what I do, I've always done it this way. And so there's a benefit, right? So we can really go deep with something or master it if it's productive. But if there is an identity that's unproductive, as an example, bad things always happen to me, or I'm just not that artistic, I'm just not that musical, or I'm just not that creative, or whatever the identity is. That's the box you create, and then you're communicating that to your subconscious mind, so you're creating that reality. When you go beyond the box, is going back to conscious parenting. Us being the parents, we kind of play the role of the conscious mind for the kids, right? We're helping them, direct them as they expand into their real selves. And for ourselves, we have to be able to play that role for ourselves to say, well, how about let's look at it this way, and let's try this new experience. So we can kind of create new containers for ourselves, so we can experience something different in ourselves.
And if you want new experiences, we have to do something different. I mean, that's the key. So a lot of people, a very popular question in the readings is, should I move somewhere? And I thought about it when I got divorced a long time ago. I almost moved to Colorado, and I was reading books, trying to understand relationships and trying to better myself. And I realized that I was running away from something. And so a lot of times when you talked about it, creation is from the inside out. So if I want the world to change, the easiest way to do that is not pick up and move across the country. The easiest way to do that is to be different, to pick something and change some aspect about yourself.
And speaking of that, it reminds me of using our experience stimulus or outside of ourselves to create. So sometimes we can receive from within to create. You receive a download, or you have a dream, or you just know you need to be doing this next thing. Sometimes you look outside of yourself and you get stimulated. I happen to be one of those people that, because I'm so open and receptive, I'm always receiving, and at times I do get stimulated. And just recently, I think, using what we talked about last podcast, if you want to check that out, gratitude, using the practice of gratitude, which I've committed to doing every day, as well as other things, I was able to make a transformation just this morning, where, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes when you go on Facebook, you might get triggered. I got triggered accidentally. I wasn't even meaning to. I was just looking for something, and I saw something, and I was like, oh, I don't have that. I want that. Why don't I have that? And I could have stayed there in this victim mentality. It might have ruined my whole day. Typically, if that happens, then I get into a fight with Brian. I'm not present with my children, and I go way outside of myself. But I thought, no, today I'm going to have a different experience. So I took a deep breath. I literally did this, and I said, what am I feeling? What am I experiencing? Because I'm a very emotional person, and typically my emotions affect me. And I was like, I'm experiencing fear. I recognize that. And the fear was very strong in me. So I said, well, what is this? So I kind of sat with it even a little bit more. And I realized there's a desire inside of that fear, because I know that's what fear is. What's my desire? Oh, my desire is this. And so, wow, that's my desire. Immediately, I felt the energy of the fear transition into joy and into excitement. Oh, I can just do this today. This thing that I want, I can just practice this right now, today. And I started to do that. And not only, I was kind of tired this morning because I haven't gotten a lot of sleep. Not only did I get a lot of energy, I feel like I've awakened to a new state of existence even. Because so what did I do? I moved from a victim mentality to a creator. I'm a creator. I can create. I can visualize what I want. I can take steps towards it. I can tell Brian about my desires. Say, can you help me fulfill this? There's so many different ways. He can be my subconscious mind. No, but there's so many ways you can do it. And so learning how to use your creative mind is a very important key, I think, not only to creating the life you want, but I think to health, to being healthy.
Oh, yeah. Because I mean, creative mind, part of creating is holding an image in your mind. And health is having that image of being whole, being healthier, and that's very, very important. Jesus said, your faith has healed you. He said, get up and walk. So they had the image in their mind that they were healed, and they accepted that image.
And so faith is that ability to imagine something you haven't seen.
Yeah,
so again, the creative mind uses imagination. And when you can do that, then you start to create in any situation, whether you have nothing going. It's obviously not true, but let's say you think there's nothing going on right in your life. You can use the nothing as the assembly, as the tools, as the product for the thing that you want. And you can create, and I've seen you do that a lot, where you alchemize what is not what you want into what you want. whether that's something in the fridge, like a Persian dish that's not spicy. Like,
Oh,
here we
yeah,
go, let
yeah,
me
we
just
can
put
add,
some
we can add
spices
some
into it.
spice into that. We could make that. Yeah, I do that. I do that a lot. My lunches are an alchemization of leftovers.
And life is an
It
alchemization.
is.
We're not here to experience ultimate, always peaks. And if we're looking for that, we're going to be disappointed, because that's not what we're here to do. And we're definitely not here to always experience
Right.
valleys.
Right.
We're here to ride the wave of that experience and
Mhm.
use our emotions productively as a tool to know ourselves.
Right. And that's ultimately the ultimate creation is the creation of ourselves, the consciousness that we're building, our vibration when adding to that, being the best that we can be. So we were created in the image of
The
our creator,
yeah.
right? God. We are creators. And when we're creating, we're alive, we're vibrant, there's that
We're happy,
flow.
we're
And
energized.
yeah, the happiest people you meet are exciting people. What's going on? Well, I just started a new business. Check out this painting I just did. Oh, did I tell you we just went to Europe. We always wanted to go. Those, the person that's got the same job as they've had since high school, that's still wearing the same concert t-shirt and haircut, those people are not as vibrant. They're in a rut, and there's nothing wrong. We all get in
But
ruts.
some people don't
And I
mind
still have
being
some of those
like
old
that.
concert t-shirts,
A lot of those.
but it's
A lot of
all
shoes,
about
too.
it's all about creating and recreating and creating these desires and manifesting and dancing. And if you don't, so I sold shoes for a long time, and the motto for Nike, my favorite shoe, was just do it. And that's what we suggest with creation, is just do it. Then you've got something to evaluate. If you never create anything, then you don't get to see, and it's all up here. And you want to get it all
And it
through
just
the
becomes
levels.
ideas that
Right.
are distant from you.
Yeah. So bringing it all out into the physical is what gives you the greatest opportunity for growth in evaluation, but it also changes your life in amazing ways, right? Because then you get to enjoy your creations and
help others,
Yeah.
Ideally, potentially, that those ideas that are coming from within you
right.
help the world
Yeah.
be a better place as
Yeah.
well. So it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, so you can create a waterfall in your backyard, which I love to do, and I'm in the finishing stages. And my canvas was dirt, and my tools were a backhoe and pallets of stone that I purchased.
Yeah.
And then I like to bake a cake, and I like to write classes.
I thought about the waterfall too, and I know we're wrapping up, but we built over the summer, we worked on a waterfall in the backyard. It's very beautiful, and it's got a deck with a pyramid, very nice. And I find that I'm so excited to have people come over to see it. And sometimes I feel like when people come out, I'm like, how was it? And like, that was great. I think I'm more excited. And the reason I'm starting to see that is because I saw the creation process. I saw it when there was nothing there.
Right.
And the work that went into it. It might be just like a little waterfall, but it really was a lot of mental, emotional, and physical work. And so I didn't even do anything to help, except I did birth 2 children that did help with the process. So I feel like that was my, but just seeing the process and connecting to the creative mind that was in it, which is yours and other people's, that's fulfilling. So I think people that were disconnected from that aren't as like, wow, they're like, oh, this is cool, this is beautiful. And it is very beautiful. They don't realize how much work went into it. But like, for example,
some people do. So
some people do.
What Goldbahar describes as a little waterfall, a friend of mine,
we should put the picture up
said
as well. Yeah,
would be about $25,000 to have it created. So that's her idea of a little waterfall. Just
it's not like the Niagara Falls in the backyard.
I built it.
I challenge you to create the Niagara Falls in the backyard.
Oh, well, now we've done it. Now we've done it.
Just joking. But we'll put a picture of the waterfall as well, so people can see that you can create what you desire and be fulfilled and happy. If you have any questions or comments, let us know, and we look forward to seeing you again. Do you have anything else to say, Brian?
Oh, go out there and create something. It's a lot of fun. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Bye.